Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome to my Max Academy. In this session, we'll continue with Chapter 1 Relations and Function from 12th Standard CBSE Mathematics. We'll continue from example 5 in page number 3 in your textbook. So, example 5 from page number 3 in your textbook. Page number 3, which is what is given. So, let's write what is given. So, given in the question is R is a relation in the set Z of integer. So the set is Z, which is set of all integers. Dot 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 dot. Integers we know -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and it goes on. Right? So this Z is the set of all integers, and R is a relation defined on Z. R is a relation on set Z, which is set of all integers, and the relation R is given by set of all a comma b such that 2 divides a minus b. So this is how the relation is defined. So this is given, and what we should prove? So to prove is, we have to prove that R is an, we'll show that R is an equivalence relation. We have to prove that R is an equivalence relation. Now to prove R is an equivalence relation, we should prove R is reflexive, symmetric and transitive. So whenever a relation is reflexive, symmetric and transitive, we call such a relation as an equivalence relation. Now let's try to understand the relation here, right? So we say two elements A and B, which are obviously coming from the set Z or Z, right? They obviously come from the set Z. Z is set of all integers, and we say A is related to B when 2 divides A minus B, which means if you find the difference between A and B, or if you do A minus B, if that value is divisible by 2, or if 2 divides A minus B, means A minus B is divisible by 2, both mean the same, then we call that those two numbers are related. Suppose for example, if I take number 2, 6, if you need to know whether this 2, 6, right, is coming in the relation set R. See, 2, 6 is obviously in Z cross Z. See, because relation R is a subset of Z cross Z, subset of the Cartesian product of integers. So R is a subset of Z cross Z. So any element that we take from Z cross Z, like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 0, 0, 1, all that. And so if I take a particular element, ordered pair from Z cross Z or Z cross Z, then that 2, 6, if I need to check whether it is present in this set, means I should divide, we have to check whether 2 divides A minus B. So A is 2 here, so 2 minus B is 6, 2 minus 6 is minus 4. Does 2 divide 4? Yes, 2 divides minus 4, right? So minus 4 is divisible by 2, or we can say 2 divides minus 4. So therefore we can say 2, 6 belongs to the set, right? So all the elements in this set will be like this, 2, 6, or if you take any element, suppose if you take 1, 5 or 1, 7. Now we need to check whether 1, 7 belongs to this set, which means 1 is related to 7. 1 is related to the number 7. Right? So how do we check 1 is related to 7? We will find the difference, 1 minus 7. 1 minus 7 is minus 6. 2 divides minus 6? Yes, 2 divides minus 6. Therefore, 1, 7 will be in this relation. So that's how the elements of R are. The elements in the set R, in the relation set R is like that. So now we should prove that's an equivalence relation. Now proof. Now how do we prove that's an equivalence relation? Now we should check the reflexive first. The first one is, we need to prove reflexive. We need to prove that it's a reflexive, R is a reflexive relation. We need to prove reflexive. Right? So how do we prove reflexive? Now which means we should take an element from A. We should prove that A, A belongs to R for every A in A. See here, your set A is our set Z. This is our set A, right? So we have to show that for every element in the set Z, each element should be related to itself, which means 1 comma 1 should be in R, 2 comma 2 should be in R, 0 comma 0 should be present here, minus 1 comma minus 1 should be here, minus 2 comma minus 2 should be in R. So we have to show that every element in Z is related to itself. Then we will show that it is reflexive. Now, which means we should prove that A comma A belongs to R. You have to prove that A comma A belongs to R, where A is any element from Z. If I take any element from Z, suppose I call that element as A, then that A comma A should be in this relation R. Now, when will A comma A will be in R? If 2 divides A minus A. If A comma A should be in this set, R means, as per the definition, this is A comma A, which means 2 divides A minus A. We should show that 2 divides A minus A. Which means we should show that 2 divides, what is A minus A? 0. We should show that 2 divides 0. Does 2 divide 0? Does 2 divide 0? Yes, 2 divides 0. Because 0 by 2 is 0. So that's how we are going to prove. So we will say, first, we'll say 0, we'll say 2 divides, we'll start like, we have to prove A comma A belongs to R. We'll say 2 divides 0. 2 divides 0, which is true, because 2 always divides 0. Right? Every number will divide 0 except 0. Right? So 2 divides 0. 2 divides 0 means what? 0 by 2 is an integer. That is the meaning of that. And 0 by 2 is 0. 0 is an integer. Right? So 2 divides 0, which we know, which means this implies 2 divides A minus A. For every A belonging to, don't put capital A, you have to put Z, because your capital A, there it is your Z here. Now instead of 0, I am writing A minus A, because A minus A is what? 0. Any integer that I take from the set of all integers, from the set integer, if I do A minus A, I will always get 0. Right? So 0 can be written as A minus A, which means 2 divides A minus A for every A in Z. A minus A is 0 is true for every number, right? 1 minus 1, 0. 2 minus 2, 0. 5 minus 5, 0. Minus 1 minus minus 1 is 0. 0 minus 0, 0. Minus 2 minus minus 2, 0. So which is true. So which means 2 divides A minus A. Now we got this definition. When 2 divides A minus A, then we have got this rule which is satisfied. So which means what we can say, if we apply this rule, we can say A comma A belongs to R. So this implies A comma A belongs to R. When can we say A comma A belongs to R? If 2 divides A minus A. And 2 is dividing A minus A. Once you get this condition, you can say that element A comma B belongs to R. But here it is A minus A, which means both are A. Here it is A minus B, so A comma B. Here both are A, which means A comma A belongs to R for every. So this symbol is for every or for all. For every A belonging to set of all integers. Now we have got this condition. A comma A belongs to R for every A belonging to capital A there. There is a general definition of reflexive, symmetrics and transitives. So our A here is Z. Z of all integers. For A belonging to Z. So therefore, we can say R is reflexive. So we have proved R is reflective. Now we should prove that R is symmetric. Now for symmetric, we should take an element from R and we should say the reverse is in R. You need not prove that A comma B is in R. You need not prove this. But if I take an element A comma B from R, I should prove that the reverse is in R. So second part is we need to prove, I have to say 2. We need to prove symmetric. We need to prove symmetric. Right? That is the second part. So we need to prove that it is symmetric. That is the second part. So now to prove symmetric, we have to take an element from R. So we'll say let A comma B belongs to R. So we are taking one element from the relation R. And what we should prove? We should prove that the reverse B minus A belongs to R. Down the line, if we keep writing steps, finally we should get B comma A belongs to R. Then we will say R is symmetric. Now A comma B belongs to R means what is the meaning of this? When A comma B belongs to R, we can always write this. 2 divides A minus B. So we can say 2 divides A minus B. Now when 2 divides A minus B, we can also say that this implies that 2 divides 2 divides minus of a minus b. See, finally what we should show, we should prove that b comma a belongs to R. If a comma b belongs to R, we should prove that b comma a belongs to R. When will b comma a will belong to R? B comma a will belong to R if 2 divides b minus a. If 2 divides b minus a, then b comma a will belong to R. So we should finally prove that 2 divides b minus a. But what we have, our condition is we have 2 divides a minus b. I should get 2 divides b minus a. If I show 2 divides b minus a, then I can say b comma a belongs to R. That way it becomes symmetric. R becomes symmetric. Now when 2 divides a minus b, 2 divides the negative of that number also. No? See, when I say 2 divides, suppose 2 divides 6, then 2 will divide, or 2 divides minus 6 also. Minus of that number. That is always true. If 2 divides any number, it will divide the negative of that number. So here 2 divides a minus b is a number, therefore 2 will divide the negative of this number, minus of a minus b. So which means 2 divides the what is minus of a minus b? Minus into a, minus into minus plus, so it becomes b minus a. Now 2 divides b minus a. What we have got here? We got 2 divides b minus a. So when 2 divides b minus a, we can say b comma a belongs to R. So this implies that b comma a belongs to R. Because whenever you get this condition, you can write this, that a comma b belongs to R. Here we got 2 divides b minus a, which means b comma a belongs to R. So where we started with a comma b belongs to R, and then we proved that b comma a belongs to R. So this is not equal to sign, this means implies. This sign means implies. So this implies we come. So therefore we started with this, we got this. Therefore we say therefore R is symmetric. R is a symmetric relation. Now next we should prove that R is transitive. So let me write here. Now third part. Right? We need to prove transitive. Now how do we prove transitive? To prove transitive, we should take two elements, a comma b and b comma c from R, and we should prove that a comma c is in R. Right? So always we will start like that. Whenever you want to prove for symmetric, you will take an element from R and you will prove the reverse is in R. Whenever you want to prove the transitivity, you will take two elements from R and show that a comma b, b comma c belongs to R, means a comma c should be there now. This we have to prove. By taking this, we have to prove this. So we will take. So let a comma b belongs to R and b comma c belongs to R. Now this means that when a comma b belongs to R, which means 2 divides a minus b. What is the meaning of a comma b belonging to R? When a comma b is in R, I can write this statement, 2 divides a minus b. And b comma c belongs to R means what? 2 divides b minus c. 2 divides b minus c, because b comma c belongs to R. Now which means when 2 divides a minus b means we can write this as a minus b equal to some multiple of, so 2 into something, some k. Whenever 2 divides a minus b means what? 2 is dividing a minus b. Exactly, which means a minus b is an even number. Which means a minus b can be written as 2 into something. Right? If I say 2 divides, suppose I say 2 divides 18, then that 18 can be written as, if 2 divides 18, then 18 can be written as 2 into something, which is 9. Right? So here 2 divides a minus b means what? A minus b can be written as some 2 into k. So finally what we have to show? We have to show a comma c belongs to R, which means we should show that 2 divides a minus c. We should show that 2 divides a minus c. If we show 2 divides a minus c, then we can say a comma c belongs to R. Now to prove that 2 divides a minus c, we are doing all this. Right? Now and 2 divides b minus c means what? Your b minus c will be equal to 2 into something, k, I'll put L. 2 into L, where K and L are integers, where K comma L are integers, some integers. K and L are some integers. Now, which means A minus B equal to 2K and B minus C equal to 2K. Now, let's take what is A minus C. Now, what is A minus C? We should prove that 2 divides A minus C. Now, which means 2 will divide A minus C if A minus C is equal to 2 into some integer. If A minus C is equal to 2 into K, we can say 2 divides A minus B. If A minus B is equal to 2 into K, then we can say 2 divides A minus B. If I have to show that 2 divides A minus C, if I need to show that 2 divides A minus C, I have to show that A minus C is equal to 2 into something. It's a multiple of 2, which means 2 into something I have to prove. If I prove that, then we can say 2 divides A minus C, then we can say A comma C belongs to R. That will show that R is transitive. So now for that, now what is A minus C? A minus C is equal to, A minus C can be written as A plus B, A minus B plus B minus C. Can we write like this? Right? So my A minus C can be written as A minus B. So minus B plus B will get cancelled. You'll get A minus C back. So the A minus C can be written in this form. Right? A minus B plus B minus C. Because this is minus B, this is plus B. They'll get cancelled. If I cancel this, I'll get A minus C. So A minus C can be written in this form. Now what is A minus B? The value of A minus B is 2K. Plus what is the value of B minus C? That is 2L. So which means I can take 2 common. It will become K plus L. Now what we have got? We have written A minus C as 2 into K plus L. And K is an integer, L is an integer. Therefore K plus L is also an integer because integers are closed with respect to addition. So K is an integer, L is an integer. Means if I add, I'll get another integer. So this will become 2 into some M. A minus C becomes 2 into M, where M equal to K plus L, an integer. Some integer. So which means we have got A minus C as 2 into something. So which means what? This means 2 divides A minus C. That is the meaning of that, right? When A minus C can be written as 2 into some number M, then we can say 2 divides A minus C. So when 2 divides A minus C, if we will go back to the definition of the relation, then we can say A comma C will belong to R. So this implies that A comma C belongs to R. So we started with what? We started with A comma B belong to R, B comma C belonging to R, and then we proved that A comma C belongs to R. So therefore we can say, therefore R is transitive. R is transitive. Now the conclusion, we have to prove R is an equivalence relation. Now R is reflexive, R is symmetric, and R is transitive. So we should say since the relation R, since R is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive, therefore R is an equivalence relation. Therefore we can say R is an equivalence relation. So we can conclude that R is an equivalence relation. Fine. So that's a proof to show that this given relation on Z set of all integers is an equivalence relation. So all of you pause the video and take notes. We'll move on to the next section, which is equivalence classes. Very important and very interesting concept. So let me erase this. Next one, what we have, the section is equivalence. Equivalence classes. So equivalence classes means what? So equivalence classes is nothing but it is a set. Equivalence classes nothing but a set. First of all, what it is? It is a set. Equivalence classes means sets. Equivalence class means set. Equivalence classes means plural, or we can say equivalence class means set. So equivalence classes, which means you are going to, so equivalence class is a set. Equivalence classes means many sets. And what are equivalence classes? That's what we are going to understand. But before that, let's go back to the definition or the relation that we had in this example, which the one that we just saw now, which is example 5. I'm just writing the relation again. So that is we have z set of all integers which are dot minus 3 minus 2 minus 1 0 1 2 3 dot. Right. So these are our integers, set of all integers, and the relation that was defined in the previous example 5 was a is related to b or a comma b such that 2 divides a minus b, where a and b belongs to a comma b will belong to z. So don't put bracket here. It's not an ordered pattern. We are saying both the numbers a and b belong to z, which is this number, this set. Fine. So now, suppose if we observe this relation, right? If we observe this relation, we see that suppose if you see that if I take any two even numbers from this, they are related. R will be of the form, R will have elements in such a way that either both are odd or both are even. Because whenever both are even, then obviously a minus b will also be even. If a is even and b is even, a minus b will be even. Even means 2 divides a minus b. Or if it is odd, both are odd, then a minus b, a is odd, b is odd. When two numbers are odd, the difference will be even, which means 2 divides a minus b. So any element that is present in R, either both will be odd or both will be even, which means every even number in Z is related to every other even number, which means 0, 2 will be in this set, 0, 4 will be in this set, 0, 6 will be in this set, 2, 2 will be in this set, 2, 4 will be in this set. So both elements A and B should be both are even or both are odd. Even 1, 3 will be there. 1, 5 will be in this set. So this set will be like that. Suppose if E is set of all even numbers, even integers, even integers. So which means your set to E is like this, dot, minus 4, minus 2, 0, 2, 4, dot. Now suppose we have O is another set of odd numbers, set of all odd integers. Then what is our O set? O set is equal to dot, minus 3, minus 1, 1, 3, it goes on. It will be 5 here, minus 5 and goes. So what we have done, we have defined two sets, set of all even numbers and set of all odd numbers, and what we observe here is every element in E is related to every other element as per this relation. If you take any two numbers, 0 and 2, 0, 2 will be here because 0 minus 2 will minus 2 and 2 divides minus 2. If you take any two numbers like 2 and 4, 2, 4, 2, 4 will be in this set. The ordered pair 2, 4 will be in this set because 2 minus 4 is minus 2 and 2 divides minus 2. So any two numbers you take from E are related, and any two numbers that you take from this set, if you take 1 and 3, 1 minus 3. If 1, 3 will be in this set because 1 minus 3 is minus 2 and 2 divides minus 2. So any two numbers, any two integers that we take, they are related to each other. So which means we'll say any two integers from set E are related. They are related. Based on this relation, they are related. Similarly, any two integers from set O are related, which means they will be in the set. If you take any two numbers, so minus 1, 1 will be here because minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 is minus 2, 2 divides minus 2. Also, another observation is no element of E is related to any element in any element or any integer in O, and also vice versa, right? And no element of O is related to any element in E. Element means number or integer. No integer of E, no integer in E, or no element of E. No element of E means no integer in E is related to any element, which means any integer in this, which means your 2 and 1 or 2 comma 1 is not related. 2 is not related to 1 because 2 comma 1 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 divides 1? No, 2 doesn't divide 1. 2 will not divide 1. Right? So any element that you take from E is not related to any element in O, and vice versa. Any element that you take from O is not related to E. Now this E set is set of all integer, even integer, and this O set is set of all odd integer. Now if you observe these two, right, so it has some of the properties or some of the characteristics which I am going to list on. The first one is, which we talked about here. The first one is, I am in page number 4 of your textbook. All elements of E, all elements of E are related to each other, and all elements of O are, O means set O, are related to each other, related to each other. Then second observation or second thing that we notice, no element in E, right? No element in E or no element of E. No element of E is related to any element O, and vice versa. And vice versa. And vice versa means any element in O is not related to, no element in O is related to any element in E. And the third one that we observe is the second point, that the observations. The third point that we observe is no element is common between E and O, which means E and O are, E set and O are disjoint sets. Disjoint sets. What is the meaning of disjoint sets? Their intersection is empty, which means E intersection O is equal to empty set. Right? O is the O set. So E intersection O set. So E and O are sets. Their intersection is empty. Right? And also the other one is, and we will see that the set of all integers, the set, main set on which the relation is defined, that will be equal to E union O. If I take the union of E set and this O set, if I take the union, I'll get the complete Z set. Complete Z set, which is set of all integers, we will get it. Now here this subset E is called as equivalence class. Here if you note, so anything that satisfies these conditions, these three conditions, or any sets, any sets or series of sets or any number of sets which satisfy these three conditions, they are called as equivalence class. So here your set E is called as equivalence class. and we'll say it's an equivalence class containing 0. So what it means? So E is called as an equivalence class containing 0. What is the meaning of equivalence class containing 0? Means this set, right, satisfies all these conditions, and also this set has the element 0 in it. Obviously E is what? E is these, and this has 0. So this set E is called as equivalence class. And also we call that these two sets will form a partition for Z. Will form a partition for Z, or we will say these two sets, they divide or they partition the set Z, or they form a division for set Z. So now this E is an equivalence class containing 0, and even we call O is also an equivalence class. O set is also an equivalence class containing 1, containing the element 1. So O is also called as an equivalence class containing the element 1. So what is the meaning of equivalence class containing 1? Means it will have all the elements, the set O will have all the elements which are related to 1, and E will have all the elements which are related to 0. Containing 0 means, so 0 is also related to 0. So which means an equivalence class is nothing but a set, equivalence classes are set of sets. Equivalence class means one set, equivalence classes means set of sets which satisfy these conditions, right? And if we take a particular equivalence class set, and if we say that it is, and if that we can say equivalence class containing 0, E is a set and it is called as an equivalence class containing 0 because this set has 0 and it satisfies all these conditions. An equivalence class containing 1 means this set has the element 1 and it also satisfies all these conditions, which means every element in this set is related to every other element, and no element in this set is related to any element here, and it also contains the element 1. That's why it's called as equivalence class containing 1, and this is denoted by generally like this: O square bracket, this is 1. So the meaning of this means, so if I say like this, box and 0, so don't get confused with this. This is set O, this set O, this is element 0. So if I want, I can put 0, this is element 0. So this means your equivalence class containing 0. If I say like this means equivalence class containing the number 1. So this is 0. This is O set. This is O set. This is your O set. Fine. This is 0. So this is, so which is same as E. This is same as E. Your E equal to this. We can say that. This is your set of all odd numbers. This O. This was a set. But if I write here in the box, if I write 0, which means it's the equivalence class containing 0. Equivalence class containing 1. This 1 you will write it here. This 0 you will put it here. Also, one more observation is, if we try to talk about equivalence class containing 2, suppose. So what is equivalence class? Equivalence class containing, suppose equivalence class containing 2, the number 2. Equivalence class containing 2. 2 means number 2. Equivalence class containing number 2 is defined as, equivalence class containing number 2 is defined as box of 2. Equivalence class containing 2 means box 2, which means this will have the equivalence class of 2 means this denotes set of all elements related to 2. Related to 2. What is the meaning of this? Equivalence class containing 2 means set of all elements related to 2. So set of all elements related to 2 is what? We know that every even number is related to 2. Right? Because 2 is also here and 2 is related to every Every even number is related to 2. See 0, 2, 0 is related to 2 because 0, 2 is here, because 0 minus 2 is 2, minus 2 which divides, 2 divides minus 2. Then 2 is also related to 2 and 4 is also related to 2. Every element in this set E is related to 2, which means every element in this equivalence class containing 0 is related to 2. So which means your equivalence class 2 or equivalence class 0 is same as equivalence class 2, which is same as equivalence class 4, is same as equivalence class 6. It goes on. So which means equivalence class containing 0 means what? Set of all elements which are related to 0. Equivalence class containing 0 means set of all elements related to 0, which means which are all the elements related to 0? All the even numbers are related to 0, which is our this set E. And what is 2? Equivalence class 2 means if we put the box and write 2, we call that as equivalence class 2 containing 2. So equivalence class containing 2 means what? Set of all elements which are related to 2, and every even number is related to 2, which means this will give set of all even integers, which is E, same as E6. Even set this box 4, which is equivalence class containing 4. Equivalence class containing 4 means what? All the elements that are related to 4. All the elements related to 4. All the elements related to 4 means what? If 4 is even, 4 is an even number, and all the elements related to 4 as per this relation means what? Right? So which means the difference between that number and 4 should be divisible by 2, or 2 divides a minus 4. Right? We can also write in this way. So basically equivalence class containing 4 means what? All the elements that are related to 4, and all the elements related to 4 are what? All the even numbers are related to 4. All the even numbers are related to 4, because any even number that you take from here, 6, let's take 6. 6 is related to 4 because 6, 4 is present here. How are we saying 6, 4 is present in this set? Because 6 minus 4 is 2 and 2 divides 4. Similarly, any even number, any number that I take from this set, which is set of all even numbers, if you take 10, 10 is related to 4. Why 10 is related to 4? Because 10 minus 4 is 6 and 2 divides 6. 2 divides 6. So any even number is related to 4. So which means this box of 4 means it is set of all numbers which are related to 4. And set of all numbers related to 4 are set of all even numbers, even integers, which means it is E, which is this set. This is set of all even. So same way for odd numbers, equivalence class containing 1. This means odd number. Don't think this as 0. Okay. This means set of all odd numbers. Set of all odd numbers. Box 1 is same as box 3. Box 1 means set of all elements related to 1. This is called as equivalence class containing 1. Equivalence class containing 1 means it is a set of all elements which are related to 1. This means box 3 means equivalence class containing 3, which means set of all elements related to 3. So this is nothing but a set. Set of all elements related to 3 is what? Set of all odd numbers. Set of all odd integers. Set of all odd integers is what? O. So that is why this O is equal to box 1, equal to box 3, equal to box 5, equal to box 7, and so on. So all these sets are same. And all these sets are what? They are set of all odd integers. This is set of all even integers. So in particular, if I write box 5 means, how do we read this? Equivalence class containing 5. Box 7 means equivalence class containing 7, and that is a set. And what type of set it is? This equivalence class containing 7, which is box 7, will consist of all the elements which are related to 7. And the elements which are related to 7 are what? All the odd numbers are related to 7, which means set of all odd numbers. Because if you take any odd number, any number from here, this set of all odd numbers, 3. Is 3 related to 7? Yes, because 3 minus 7. 2 divides 3 minus 7. So 3 is related to 7. Is 5 related to 7? Yes, because 2 divides 5 minus 7. 2 divides 2 is 7 related to 7? Yes, because 2 divides 7 minus 7. Is 9 related to 7? Yes, because 2 divides 9 minus 7. 9 minus 7 is 2, 2 divides 2. So this is what. So equivalence class is nothing but a set in which every element related to every other element. And in particular, if I put box 2 means it is the set of all numbers which are related to 2, and it also contains 2. right? So this is read as equivalence class containing 2. This is read as equivalence class containing 4. So equivalence class containing 2 or equivalence class containing 4. Equivalence class containing 6. Right? So this is equivalence class containing 0. So what is the meaning of equivalence class containing 0? Means set of all elements which are related to 0. So this box 0 is nothing but a set. Fine. Now we will move ahead with one more thing. So suppose let's take we will generalize this for a particular example. I have explained this. So if we generalize this, what we'll say is, we generalize this concept. This I have explained by taking one particular example. One particular example I took, which is this set and this relation. We have found what are the equivalence classes and all that. Now in general, what it says is, all of you can copy this. Pausing the video, I'm erasing. So suppose if you have, if R is an equivalence relation, is an equivalence, or we'll say, suppose if given is R is an equivalence relation. R is an equivalence relation, and suppose X is any set on which a relation R is defined. R is defined, which means R is a relation on set X, which means R is a relation, is an equivalence relation. R is an equivalence relation on set X. On set X. R is an equivalence relation on set X. Fine. R is an equivalence relation on set X. Then we can say R divides, the relation R divides the set X into mutually disjoint subsets. Mutually disjoint subsets AI called partitions or subdivisions of X, subdivisions of X satisfying the following condition. Satisfying below conditions. What they are? Number one is all element of AI are related to each other. All elements of AI are related to each other for every I, for all I. Right? So once I write this, I will explain this with an example, then you will be able to understand this. And also the second condition is no element of AI. Second condition is no element of AI is related to, no element of AI is related to any element of, no element of related to any is related to any element of AJ where I is not equal to J. Now I will explain you what is AI, what is AJ. This may be a little confusing. I will explain you. Let me write the given condition. The third one is A1 union A2 union A3 dot 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 union AN will give you the X set X. Union of all this will give you set X as also, and AI intersection AJ will be equal to MT whenever your I is not equal to J, comma I is not equal to J, which means that is the meaning of mutually disjoint, which means none of this A1 and A2 will have any elements as common. So what it says is, suppose if we have, I can change this as if R is an equivalence relation and X is any set on which the relation R is defined, that is R is an equivalence relation on set X, means then we can say R divides the set X into mutually disjoint subsets AI called partitions or subdivisions of X, satisfying the conditions that all elements of AI are related to each other, which means every element in the set AI is related to each other and no element in AI is related to any other element in AJ, and union of all the A1, A2, A3 till AN will give you my X, and AI intersection AJ equal to MT. So if you compare this with the earlier example that I was discussing, our A1 is like E set of all integers, even integers, set of all even integers, and A2 is like O, which is set of all odd integers, right? Then what did we see there? We saw that every element in A, which is E is A1, is related to every other element in E, that is all element of AI. AIs are what? AIs are A1 and A2. This is one, A1 is one set, A2 is another set. So all the elements of A1 is related to every other element. Then all the elements of A2 is also related to each other, right? All elements of A2 are related to each other, which means every element of A2 is related to every other element. That is, for all I means here I is what? 1 and 2. There are only two partitions here, right? And no element of AI is related to any element in AJ, which means A1, no element of A1, this is A1, is related to any element of A2. A2 is this, so which is true. No element of E in the previous example was related to any element of O, right? And also, if you take the union of A1 and A2, here only there are two partitions, A1 union A2, that will give you the set Z. Now previous example it was Z, right? And E intersection O, this set intersection this set was empty. So whenever you have an equivalence relation on a set X, then that will always divide your X into multiple sets, mutually disjoint sets satisfying these conditions. Those sets will satisfy these conditions. And suppose let's take one more, and these AIs called as right. So these AIs, the subsets AIs, they are subsets of obviously X. The subsets AI are called as equivalence classes. Right? Each subset is called as an equivalence class, and all the subsets of AI, which means A1 is an equivalence class, A2 is an equivalence class, A3 is an equivalence class, like that. And here the reverse is also true. Suppose if you have R that divides X into mutually disjoint subset of AI called partitions or subdivisions satisfying these conditions, then we will be able to define an equivalence relation on set X. The converse is also true. This is also true, right? So this is also true. So whenever if this is true, we can say then this happens, right? This was just an example of the previous one. You need not worry about this. I just explained you what was A1, what was A2 here. Right? So if this is true, then you can say this. But if this is true, then you can also say this. Whenever R divides X into mutually disjoint subsets of AI, satisfying these conditions, then we will be able to define an equivalence relation R on the set X. On the set X. Right? Suppose an example is, for the reverse case, example is, suppose you have a set A1. A1 is like this, set of all X such that X belongs to Z, which means X is an integer and X is a multiple of 3. X is a multiple of 3. Suppose I am defining one set like this. I am trying to take condition. I am going to find some A1, A2, A3 satisfying this condition. Then I am going to show that we will be able to define a relation, equivalence relation on that set. Here our set is Z. Z is a set. Now A2 is set of all X belonging to such that X belongs to Z. X minus 1 is a multiple of 3. Multiple of 3. Fine. Then we will take A3 is another set of all X such that X is an integer, X belongs to Z, comma X minus 2 is a multiple of 3. Now if we have such sets, then what are these sets? If you observe, so multiple of X is an integer, X is a multiple of 3 means what all will come? Dot 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 dot. You will have minus 6, minus 3, 0, 3, 6, dot 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 dot. This is your set, right? Because X is a multiple of 3, minus 6 is a multiple of 3, minus 3 is a multiple of 3. So every number here should be a multiple of 3. And here, what all will come? X minus 1 should be a multiple of 3. So X minus 1 should be a multiple of 3 means you will have minus 5, minus 2, 1, then 4, 7, dot dot dot. Right? So if you subtract, so if you take this is X is 4, 4 minus 1 is what? 3. 3 is a multiple of 3. Then take 7. 7 minus 1 is a multiple of 3. Then the next number will be 10. 10 minus 1 will be a multiple of 3. Same way, if you take minus 5 minus 1 is minus 6, which is a multiple of 3. And this set will be obviously dot 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 dot. X minus 2 is a multiple of 3, which means you will have minus 4, then you will have minus 1, then you will have 2, then you will have 5, 8, dot 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 dot. Fine. So minus 4, minus 1, 2, 5, 8. So these are the 3 sets. Now if you take the unit, now if you see this, now this satisfies all the conditions. All the elements are related to each other. Suppose we have divided into 3 sets. Now if you take the union of all these 3, A1, union A2, union A3, only 3 partitions are there. You will get the complete Z. Complete Z will come. And if you take any element, every element is related to every other element. See, 0 is related to 0. Right? And 3 is related to 3 because if we have the relation, if I define the relation R on this, right? R divides X. So the relation R is set of all A comma B such that 3 divides A minus B. Suppose if I define a relation like this, then every element in A1 is related to every other element because they will satisfy this condition. If you subtract any 2 numbers, that number will be divisible by 3. Similarly, you take any 2 numbers from this set, every number is related to every other number. Suppose if you take 1 and 4, 1 is related to 4 because 1 minus 4 is what? 1 minus 4 is minus 3 and 3 divides minus 3. Similarly, 1 and 7 if you take 1 comma 7, 1 and 7 are related because 1 minus 7 is minus 6 and 3 is 3 divides minus 6. So which means every element of this set is related to every other element. Every element of this set is related to every other element. Similarly, every element of this set is related to every other element. So we have an R, a relation that divides the X into three partition or subdivisions, and each of these subdivisions they satisfy the condition that every element of in this set is related to every other element. Similarly, every element in this set is related to every other element. Every element of this set is related to every other element, which is this, and no element of this set will be related to any element in this. So, which means your 3 is not related to 4, or 3 is not related to 7, because 3, 7 will not be in this set. 3 will not be related to 7 because 3 minus 7 is what? Minus 4, and minus 3 does not divide minus 4. 3 does not divide minus 4. Therefore, 3, 7 cannot be 3, 4 cannot be in this set, or 3 is not related to 7. So no element in this set will be related to any element in this set. So no element in this set will be related to any element in this set. Similarly, no element in this set will be related to any element in this set. So it will satisfy all these conditions, right? And if you take the union of all the, see here it is A1, A2, A3, only 3 sets, A1, A2, A3. And if you try to find the intersection between any two, your A1 intersection A2 is empty, your A2 intersection A3 is empty, and your A3 intersection A1 is also empty, right? So nothing is common between these two. If you take the intersection of these two elements, empty set. If you take the intersection of these two elements, these two sets, empty. If you try to take the intersection of this set and this set, it is an empty set. That's why A1 intersection A2 is empty, A2 intersection A3 is empty, A3 intersection A1 is empty. We call this as pairwise disjoint. We call this statement as pairwise disjoint. Basically, any two pair you take, nothing is common, right? So then, now we have got this condition. Then we can show that R is an equivalence relation. We can prove that R is an equivalence relation. This relation, set of all A comma B, such that 3 divides A minus B. This relation, we can show that it is an equivalence relation. It is true. So when you have these conditions satisfied, which is this, you can show this relation is an equivalence relation. Or if you have a relation which is an equivalence relation, then it can, partition your given set X on which the relation is defined into multiple partitions, and those partitions will satisfy these conditions. And each partition is called as an equivalence class, or all the subsets are called as equivalence classes. Here these are called as equivalence classes. A1 is an equivalence class, A2 is an equivalence class, A3 is an equivalence class. So we can also call this A1 as equivalence class containing 0. I can write like this, or I can even write like 3, or I can even write like 6 equal to. So here this is called as equivalence class containing 1, this is equivalence class containing 4, this is equivalence class containing 7. All these are equal. Similarly, here I can say all these are equivalence class containing 2, equal to equivalence class containing 5, equal to equivalence class containing 8. So all these are same sets. This also will denote this set. This box 3 also will denote this set. Box 6 also will denote this set, and it goes on dot dot dot. We can keep on putting equal to 9, equal to the next number and all that. Fine. So this is the this is the one of the characteristics of an equivalence relation. This is one of the characteristics of an equivalence relations, wherein it can partition your X into different subsets satisfying these conditions. And if we have such a condition, then we can always, that relation we can show that relation is an equivalence. Any relation which satisfies these conditions, that will be an equivalence relation. Fine. So I will stop here. So this ends the concept of equivalence classes. So I will stop here, and you can watch my next video for the continuation of this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you.